Good morning. This is the crypto day morning. Today's date is in that of Saturday, 10th of November, 2018. I'd like to welcome you to the channel. All bets, trades, and anything of the like within one's own risk reward. Not much to go over within Bitcoin. Having a move above this 18 average, and then the last two sessions, that of Thursday and Friday, coming down to the 18 average of lows. A little bit of a lift off from that period. And when we look at this via the single hour time frame, when looking at correctionary moves from each leg lower, after the first leg it came up to this 18, but then rejected it quickly, making a lower low from, of course, this low. And then correcting multiple times in the entire run here, but then breaking down this level of support, and then a new leg lower, grinding the 18 average of lows for about a dozen half a day, maybe a tiny bit more, of course. And then the change came in here where it stayed sideways within the 18 and now has had this run of looking to revert the trend, as you've got a few periods above the 18 highs, two that brought it back down to the 18 lows, and then breaking it back higher. So as far as the downtrend of the short term, is it over? Well, it's looking more and more along the likes that it's ready to go for a good gain, given that it's at this resistance level, has managed to make that move and is showing momentum to the upside, but nothing to get too excited about. For one leg higher would bring it up to about, within the hour time frame anyway, into the 6400s area as that potential move. And again, that's just short-term analysis as that's considered. 3-day term time frame, I've talked a lot about this, and when you see what it's doing on here, it is just basically staying flat, not doing much. Monthly chart. This is basically its history on Bitstamp. And what I've been doing over the last couple of days is showing markets on situations every day where you would sell if it's up at least 7% from last trade, or down 5% from last trade, and then do that every single day, and the phenomenal gains that it has and how well it protects profits. We're looking at this chart, and now what will look like to do such within Bitcoin over the last 7 years. This is what I came up with, and that means you would have outperformed the dollar to a gain of about 11x, starting when the price was $3.50. It's over 6,000 today, so it's close to 2,000 times higher just buying and holding. Meaning, when coins just go straight up, like you see here, the losing amongst the buy low, sell high strategy is you're going to get a fraction of what the gains could be. Within that strategy, of course, when markets go sideways, well, you know, holding is going to make you break even, but if I'm buying on the low end and selling on the upper end consistently, I'm going to be trading in some sort of upward range. Maybe not to that type of rate of ascent, but still an upper range nonetheless. And even in some cases when markets go down, as I've been showing too, as long as they have some of these nice up moves, that if you're looking at a market here, you should be profiting because of all of the great volatility on any chart with that similar kind of look. I was also asked if it's important that the sell percentages are higher than the buys, and it really doesn't make too much of a difference. If you go it's understand if you're playing, in this case here, you're expecting that you're in a bull market, thus playing higher highs, higher lows when you're doing it towards that number. But what I feel is important to note is understand the message of the market and understand which numbers that you can play afford to get, or to work towards, because regardless of how, if you play low, medium, or high volatility, you're going to have to increase or use, it'd be a good idea to increase or decrease volatility as market situations present itself. So in times with low volatility like now, that means you're going to play for a little lower than the moves that are accustomed to coming into play. So if you're looking to say maybe sell at 10, 20, 30% moves normally, well, maybe this time you might be selling for 15 or 20%. And if normally you're trading for 7% moves, maybe now you might be trading for 4 or 5%. And a lot of it is just dependent on the market, because you're looking at where and it'll tell you, it'll adjust itself for the volatility. Oh, I think it's going to come up to this key high, this previous level of resistance, or a 61.8% retracement. So when you're looking at levels, when the moves get larger, then you can afford to be able to play for the larger moves. And when you have days where markets go straight up, this is what's phenomenal about what a lot of these markets had as far as buying low, selling high. Because what I like about it, with going back to this chart with Ripple, this is how well you'd be doing starting just one Bitcoin ownership of such a coin, and the buying low, selling high, that you would have spent over 2 years in a losing situation, losing really 3 Bitcoins at that time, because when you're -2, your portfolio would be worth 1, and your Bitcoin net would be -3. And then when you have these big gains, it does a very good job at protecting them, because even though this fell from a decent amount, this fell from like 3.8 down to like 1.2, so it lost 2.6 units. So this was a bigger loss than this in cumulative. But when I was showing in the market, when this happened, that came down to some pretty low levels, and it does a very good job, this general strategy, in protecting the gains. And when the gains get really big, because this is in linear form again, that when these numbers get larger, that means if you say, for example, you're at this point, you'd be up 4 units. You could technically get into 4 different new coins. So when you get gains, I look at a spot where I could buy new coins. I use it when Bitcoin prices are higher. I can buy precious metals. You could use it for different forms of shopping, of course, within the cryptocurrency. But yeah, that's the general way of looking at it. But increasing stake is something that, there's a lot of advanced mathematical things you can do, will always improve your ROI, which is return on investment. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.